Hey everyone, welcome back to Fusioneers. My name is Joseph, and today we're going to be making a cup using the offset method. So this is the cup that we're going to be making. We've already made 2 videos on this. The shell is kind of the best way to make a cup. The thin extrusion method is another way, and then today we're going to be talking about the offset method. If you're not a part of the Skool community, go ahead and join. It's for free. It's at skool.com/Fusioneers, and you can get these drawings of the cup as well as the fusion files that I'll be making today for free. Also, we have some other things available there as well, so go ahead and check that out. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to make a new design here. Make sure you're in the cup folder of Fusioneers project, and then go ahead and click Command S, which is the save shortcut, and we're going to call this cup offset. All right, and so we're going to start it off kind of like we've started off the other cups. We're going to make a sketch on this bottom plane. We're going to hit the C key on the keyboard, which is the center diameter shortcut. We're going to select the origin and then draw just an arbitrary circle. Then we're going to click D on the keyboard and then select profile of the circle, and we're going to make it 60 millimeters, which if you're following along, that is the diameter of our cup drawing. All right, so now we want to draw the inside border of our wall. So our walls are 3 millimeters thick, so we want to draw another circle that's smaller on the inside of this big circle. So let's do that in 2 different ways. I'll just show you just for an example. So let's go ahead and click C again to bring up our center diameter circle. We're going to select the center again, and then we're just going to draw it just kind of a little bit smaller than what we actually need. And then we're going to say D for dimension. We're going to select this circle and then the outside circle, and then you'll see that our dimensioning now is based on the distance between the circles. So since our wall needs to be 3 millimeters thick, we're going to type in a 3 there. And now you can see that we have our circle that is 3 millimeters. And now you can see we have our circle that is 6 millimeters smaller diameter or 3 millimeters smaller radius. So you can see if you just select that inside circle and then come down here, our diameter is 54 millimeters. And so instead of doing that, some of you might have done the math in your head, so let's just delete that. And then let's say we just did the math and we said, okay, well, it has to be a 54 millimeter diameter circle on the inside, which is correct. You know, it's the same thing. But the issue with that is, say we wanted a 70 millimeter outside circle. We wanted to keep the wall the same. So you'd actually have to come in and change this as well. Whereas if you use the first solution where we just based it on this diameter, then if we made this 70 millimeters, now we're basically dragging that inside circle with us regardless of the diameter, right? So if we did a 50 millimeter, it would also adjust. So that's the benefit of kind of referencing that outer diameter circle. And then I'm going to show you one other way to do this, which is, you know, something that's useful, especially with more complicated sketches. This one, really, you could do either one, but it's called the offset. So if you see up here, this offset command, which is also O shortcut, so we're just going to click on that, and then we're going to click here. And so essentially what this does is pretty much the exact same thing, but it's really useful when it's a little bit more complicated sketch, as you might imagine, but this is a good way to practice. So all that this is just basically taking the shape or the sketch and then making an offset. And so for us, we want a -3 offset. And so now it's basically doing the same thing as what we did before. If we change this to 70 millimeters, it adjusts. If we change it to 20 millimeters, it also adjusts. So let's go back to 60, and now we're ready to make our solid body. So that took a little while, but I just wanted to show you all the different possibilities there. So I'm going to finish the sketch. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to just extrude the total height of the cup. So click E for extrude, and then select both the inside and outside profile. And then we're going to make it 100 millimeters tall. Okay, and now we're going to show our sketch again, and we're going to do another extrude this time. So click E, and we're going to select just the inside circle. So make sure that inside circle is selected. And what we're going to do now is the offset. So if we change our view a little bit, if you look at the extrude panel, there's a lot of different options, but the main thing we want to focus on here is the start option. So right now we're starting from the profile plane, which means that wherever this profile plane is, that's where we're starting from. And it might be easier to understand if we just did it. So if we start from the profile plane, we're just going to start cutting out our part. And then if we go in the other direction, it's just going to start making a new part. So what we want to do is actually, we want to cut out most of this part, but we want to leave the bottom, right? Because we have a bottom of our cup. So we have to change our start. And then the way we do that is we change it to offset. And then we can put in how much we want to offset our extrusion by. And so let's offset it by 3. And now, if you look at it, you'll see that we're starting from 3 millimeters above our profile plane. So now when we cut through everything, we're leaving our 3 millimeter bottom of our cup intact. And so now you might be tempted just to drag this up, or you might just click here, but I'll show you why that could be an issue. So let's say we did, it's kind of the most intuitive thing, is just click here, it'll snap to it, then we click OK. And so this is what we wanted, right? But there is something to kind of be aware of with this. And sure, if this was the only cup you're going to make, this is perfect. You can go ahead and add your chamfers and you're done. But say let's make our cup, instead of 100 millimeters, we make it 120 millimeters. And so if we do an analysis, let's see, section analysis, and let's just cut this in half. All right, so what happened was when we made our cup 20 millimeters taller, this extrusion did not adjust. And the reason for that is because we didn't select one of the settings here. And this is something that I forget to do really often. And that's kind of why I made this video, was to try to help y'all understand what it's doing. So if you click edit feature, when we clicked on that top surface when it was 100 millimeters, that was just telling this to extrude a certain distance. And that distance is 97 millimeters. And the reason for that is because our extent type was wrong. And for some reason, Fusion defaults to distance as its extent type. So what we did was we basically clicked on the top and said, this is how far I want you to extrude. And it said, okay, that's 97 millimeters. And it kept it at 97 millimeters. That's why it didn't adjust to extrude all the way through. But if we change this to to object, and we select here, now it's basically saying however tall our cup is, it's going to adjust to extrude all the way to the top of it. And so you'll see the distance, it isn't 97 anymore, it's 2, which means that it's going to go to the top of our cup. So if we click OK, now if we change the height of our cup to, let's say we change it to 150, is it going to adjust or not? It should adjust, okay? And then if we change our height back to 100, it should also adjust for that as well. Okay, so that's how you do it. Now just to recap really quickly, if you're gonna use the offset method, you need to start, instead of on the profile plane, you need it to be on the offset plane. And then you put in your offset, which for us was 3 millimeters because we wanted to leave a 3 millimeter thick floor here. And then the direction's fine. Our extent type, we had it distance, but we changed it to to object. So let's just go ahead and change that back. And as you'll see here, if you click here, it's going to say 97. So now if we changed it again to 120 millimeter tall, it wouldn't cut all the way through. So we have to go to object and then just select this top face. And now it's going to adjust with this extent. For this, it's to selected face, which is what we want. And then this offset is actually talking about the top offset. So you could actually, if you wanted a hollow cylinder, you could say -3 here. And now we have a hollowed out cylinder, which is not what we want. So we just want 0 offset because we want to cut through the whole thing. And then taper angle, we don't want to change that right now. So if we click OK, now we have our cup. And I know that was a long-winded explanation, but again, this is something that will come up if you keep modeling from time to time, and just want to let you know how to fix it or to do it right in the first place. So then we're going to click modify, chamfer, I'll select that top face, and then this edge down here, and we're going to chamfer it 0.4 millimeters, which is what we have from our drawing. You can see there we're chamfering off those edges, and that's it. All right, so hopefully that makes sense and maybe you got something out of it, and appreciate you watching.